give a big round of applause for Dolly Dagger.
I'll never forget the words of the first person who inspired me to cross-dress. He said, "Me, what's up, Doc?" Every time I saw Bugs Bunny put on a dress and become fabulous, I would get the most obscene amount of butterflies in my stomach. Eventually, I was able to teach those butterflies how to fly in formation. I was a normal boy. I was a normal boy. I obsessively watched WWF wrestling. I played catch with my father, and I was a very proud Boy Scout. And I loved all of those things. I also wanted to wear a dress from time to time. And being a child in the 80s, every time you would turn on MTV, you would always see Cyndi Lauper and the Bangles and Madonna just looking so amazing and incredibly sexy, and I wanted to do something with them. Yeah. I didn't know what, but it was something. But what I did know was I wanted to be able to look like them. And while I didn't want anyone to find out about these tendencies, I never understood them to be wrong. However, when the movie Wayne's World came out in theaters, my attitude started to shift slightly. When Garth asked Wayne, "Did you ever find Bugs Bunny attractive when he put on a dress and play a girl bunny?" I thought to myself, holy shit, you mean I'm not the only one? Then Wayne gave a very nervous laugh and a very defensive "no," and the audience erupted with laughter. And I thought to myself, okay, this is not seen as normal behavior. I had better repress and suppress the shit out of these desires. Lord knows the boys that went to my junior high had no reservations about ridiculing me when I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, for crying out loud. I couldn't imagine what those sadistic pricks would have done had they known about this. So my teenage years were typical, in that they were filled with self-loathing. Oh, sure, I would dabble from time to time. I'd wear a pair of panties and a bra occasionally, and it would feel awesome. But every time I did, I would always hear those voices in my head that would tell me I was a freak. I was a joke. I was less of a man. It wasn't until I was 23 that I finally admitted that I was a transvestite. By the way, that is how I identify as a transvestite. I do not live my life 24/7 as a woman. I am a cisgendered male. I look very, very, very fabulous on the weekends. He pronouns when I'm a guy, she pronouns when I'm a girl. No, it does not determine who I am attracted to. And if you want to know the difference between a transvestite and a drag queen, please ask a drag queen. Moving right along, it wasn't until I was 23 that I finally admitted that I was a transvestite. I was dating the most gorgeous Amazon woman at the time. You know that Futurama episode? Death by Snoo Snoo? That was her. And what a way to go. And one night, she sends me a text saying that she's at Embers with some friends and wanted to know if I would like to come along. Now, I had heard about the notorious gay bar Embers and how they had drag shows most nights of the week. But being the repressed thing that I was, I'd never been there before. But I thought, oh, what the hell, I'll go. Who knows, I might have a good time. And when I walked in and I saw all the lights and the rainbow painted everything, and the sparkly, glitter-covered everything. And all the fabulous queens. And all the patrons there just seemed so happy and free and beautiful and comfortable. And I felt so incredibly angry. So, I decided that I should excuse myself. Because clearly, I needed to think. No one had done anything to make me feel that way. No one had said anything to make me feel unwelcome or unwanted, so why? Why, I asked myself, why do you feel so angry right now? And God damn it, be honest with yourself. You cannot afford to not be honest with yourself right now. And right away, I knew it was because I had been surrounded by people who had dealt with the same mental obstacles I had been dealing with my whole life. They too had heard those voices and had managed to overcome them. And I was, without a doubt, consumed with envy. But I knew I was coming to a breaking point. I mean, clearly something had to give. Either I was going to face these demons, or I was just gonna fucking snap. And my girlfriend asked me, "What is wrong? Why are you feeling this way? You can tell me, please, no matter what it is, please tell me." And I thought to myself, if you can't tell this woman who has proven herself time and time again to be incredibly open-minded, then you are fucked, and you will spend the rest of your life miserable. So I told her everything. It came out in a great deluge of truth that I had been holding back for far too long. And she asked me if I needed some time off so that I could think about who I was and what I wanted, and I said, "No, I know what I want. I want your help. Will you please help me to dress and realize these desires?" And she said she'd be happy to. So we went back to her place, and she let me borrow an outfit, and she did my makeup. Occasionally, she would ask me if I wanted to see the progress that she was making. But every time I said, I can't until you're done. When she finished, she said to me, "Okay, go look at yourself." So I nervously got off the bed and approached the full-length mirror. And I saw someone that I'd only dreamed about. And I said to myself, "There you are. I'm so sorry that it's taken this long. But you're free now, and you're never going back." And I knew what was up, Doc. A few hours later, I was taking off what clothes I still had on at that point, and I was removing what remained of my makeup. Smear-proof lipstick, my ass. And I said to my girlfriend, "I have never felt more comfortable as a man in my life." Think of that. It took fully embracing femininity to get my masculinity the strongest it had ever been. And to think, I hesitated. After that, wherever I went, it was as if I had a diamond in my pocket that nobody knew about but me. Yet I could admire it whenever I wanted to. And I started to talk about the experience that I had just had. Okay, brag about the experience that I had just had, let's be honest, with other transvestites on Yahoo user chat rooms. And if any of you remember those, you were very naughty in the early 2000s. You probably still are. But every one of these transvestites that I would chat with, after I finished telling them about the experience that I just had with my girlfriend, they all said the same things. That's hot, first of all. Then, they would proceed to tell me just how incredibly lucky I was, for a number of reasons. For instance, I was incredibly lucky that I had embraced this at such an early age because it took most of them a couple of decades longer than it took me. Also, I was very lucky indeed that I was dating someone that wore the same size clothes and shoes that I did. I mean, my wardrobe doubled overnight. But most of all, I was unfathomably lucky that I was with someone that so obviously cared about my happiness. Apparently, that was a very rare thing for these people. I came to find out most of these transvestites were married to cisgendered women who had no idea. Some of them had wives who were very happily understanding and accepting, but 80% of them, they were terrified that their wives would find out. And they would do anything to keep their secret. Some of them went so far as to rent a hotel room once in a while by themselves just so they could dress up occasionally and have a little bit of peace. And I heard story after story of shame and humiliation and self-hate. But the saddest thing I heard came from a Vietnam veteran. And he said he had wanted to dress his whole life and only just now started because he'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer. It was as if I had come face to face with the ghost of Christmas future. This man who had had the courage to charge at enemy fire in some godforsaken jungle would not allow himself to do something he wanted to do. Because clearly, he had heard the same voices that I had heard. Voices that came from his friends, his family, his coworkers, and society in general. That he was a freak. That he was a joke. That he was less of a man. And I said to myself, there but for the grace of God go I. And I promised myself that would not be me. Because this is a part of who I am. For better or worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. This is a part of who I am. And I'm so thankful that I had the ability to say to myself, stop being such a goddamn sissy and put the panties on. But I am not unique in my desires. The only thing that does make me unique is the fact that I embrace them fully, and I've gained a lot of strength and confidence from them, and I'm now comfortable enough with them to get up here and talk to all of you. But both the blessing and the curse of being a transvestite is that it is so easy to hide. And because it is easy to hide, it's very easy to take seriously the voices that you hear that tell you, you are wrong for being who you are. But I would like to leave you with a quote that I have found speaks volumes over any of those voices I ever heard. It's from a Game of Thrones, if you've ever heard of it. Goes like this. Never forget what you are, for surely the world will not. Make it your strength, so it can't be used as your weakness. Armor yourself in it, and it will never be used to hurt you. Thank you.